governments. So, yeah, I find that particularly and personally frustrating. But the tension is still there. And in fact, I would say the conflicts subsist. It's just that we're not sure where this will be going from indications and what people may tag prediction or predictions. One of the predictions that I hope doesn't happen will be America, for any reason, sending troops on the ground. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I truly wish that doesn't happen. Because when they talk about World War III, it's funny how it could be at any moment and anything could just be the spark that ignites the fire. And the way it's going between the arrogance of men and the fact that everybody is playing a script. Everyone is playing a script. You and your arrogance are a slave to a predetermined script. And if you read the history books, they tell you about what will happen in the future. And maybe you've even heard of people attempting to predict the future. And it's funny because when you look at that psychologically, you realize that the future that is being predicted, particularly on occasions when those predictions come through, you realize that everyone is playing out a script. Okay, no, so not everyone is playing out a script, but largely the world is a stage, and it's a stage where the script has already been written, and people who are on that stage are playing out a script. It's funny because there's been when I try to do any reading on World War III, you just realize that given as far back the time that it has been predicted, you begin to wonder, oh, people saw this happen far back 200 years ago, 500 years ago, 1,000 years ago. People saw this happen. And it's almost as though that's a guaranteed event to happen in our lifetime. And what that means is what I don't think we fully grasp. I don't know that we fully comprehend the consequence of a global fallout and how that would affect every vein of our collective, like I'm talking global nerve. So I think that's really what I'm looking at. And I think every move appears to be that domino that could tip over and the entire wall comes crumbling down. With that said, Nigeria somehow is feeling a little bit of that pressure when it comes to oil prices. Last week, was it last week or 2 weeks ago? Was it last week? What am I doing? My head can't quite comprehend calendars anymore. Okay, well, about a few days ago, someone told me that he bought fuel for, I think, 900 and something. Today, the news is reporting that Nigerians are pretty much paying 1,000, 1,200. That is for a conflict that has not fully imploded. And whatever that means in our personal, micro economy has, of course, a weightier effect on the macro. The Punch is reporting rising fuel prices. NNPC may supply foreign crude to Dangote refinery. And of course, there's a literature about that, a news article on that and why that's happening. They say that this is Nigerians currently grappling with high fuel prices following the recent hike in the cost of commodities by the $20 billion Lekki-based refinery. The federal government, through the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, has begun moves to secure crude oil supply for Dangote Petroleum Refinery through third-party international traders in a bid to sustain domestic refining operations. The thing hasn't even really started. It started, but you would think maybe a little bit more needs to happen for the consequences to begin to tell on your naira, the weight in your pocket. And I'm hearing that those who have oil are hoarding. And of course, the last 2 days, Iran has truly felt the wrath of America, Israel, they've had their oil points targeted by American missiles, and the very campaign to collapse Iranian structure, political structure, economic structure, is really what I think we need to look at. But beyond that would be, what is the reason of this? The more I look, the less I see justifications for a reason, except there's a far deeper nerve or a far deeper reason that is informing the situation that we're seeing. So, I mean, of course, on the surface is the economic level. What we're not certain of would be the consequence of this particular development if it persists. Already, this is what? We're heading towards 2 weeks now. Yeah, this is moving gradually, and it's been maintained. Iran has says they're not going to talk until the missiles stop. Donald Trump has bragged about his choice or decision to, of course, not grant them any audience if they're not going to, one, allow him get involved in the process to pick the next spiritual leader, which now has been picked. And America threatened, or I think it was even America and Israel, to threaten to kill the next Iranian leader. And if that is anything to go by, there is a new leader now that has been picked. And if he gets killed... All right. So, I mean, this is a very... I think this is more like a personal rant to say, I think I need you to keep your eyes on that news as it develops, because depending on what becomes the next global big thing to talk about here on Nigeria Info, we will be talking about it. All right. Okay, good. Over the weekend, there was the tragedy that occurred in Borno State. And I couldn't watch the videos. And I couldn't watch the videos. It was... I mean, I've seen videos like that before, where human bodies are torn apart in ways that only revenge begins to touch about what justice can look like. It's the very same issue of insecurity, and this time around, the military, we lost soldiers. Some people say about 40 soldiers. The military have denied it. And there is a consequence of that to the Nigerian people. There is the fact that as long as this continues, there is only a semblance, an imitation of peace and order. And until all Nigerians are free, can we truly say that we are free people? If every now and again there is that Nigerian over there, and that's funny, you know, it's because it's not just one person dying, and consequentially, to recklessly lose one person should truly be disturbing. Than when we lose 14, 15, 50, 60, 70, 50, 70, 80, 100 plus people. We're even beginning to lose track of numbers of Nigerians who die these days. It's truly difficult to keep track on the numbers of people. It's almost as though we are not capable of keeping tabs on the figures, given the frequency with which we lose Nigerians. So, I thought we should talk about that, but honestly, there's nothing in my soul that can manage a conversation around insecurity in this country. It's that there's so much that has been said, and while we're waiting for something to happen, we're still left with the tragedy of losing people. We're losing civilians. We're losing servicemen. The country says we're doing good. Well, I guess that's exactly what we're attempting to subject into a conversation this afternoon. And from a different perspective, a truly different perspective, Daniel Bawla was on Al Jazeera. I want to... too many opinions. The Bala guy, Daniel Bala, was on Al Jazeera to do what? I think one, to speak on the projection of the renewed hope agenda, but the way it ended up playing out, it got out of hand. It got out of hand for him, because I'm not sure what he thought was going to happen there. He did attempt to uphold the very picture that the administration would love to be upheld. And then in between all of that were the cracks. Now, unfortunately, we don't have the opportunity to... We don't have the privilege of having a president who every now and again will come up when there's a necessity to have the people spoken to come before the public and make a statement, or, the way Trump would do it. So it's when you appreciate it when you get it, because, yeah, you think he should do a lot more talking, but you don't get it as frequently as you want. So let's imagine for a moment that Daniel Bala on Al Jazeera is a representation of the Nigerian administration, as Al Jazeera tagged it, renewed hope or hopelessness. And I watched the interview and I was seeking out an aspect of that interview that I should share with you. And I thought there is really no aspect that would be fair to leave out from your judgment. And I would be playing you as much as I think the show can accommodate today. This administration say that they're working, that they have been working, and they will continue to work. Daniel Bala, who is the media and policy communications person, special advisor to the president, pretty much dismissed criticism that trailed his appearance on Al Jazeera, a head-to-head program that's hosted by Mehdi Hassan. In the interview, which aired on Thursday on Al Jazeera, you would have guessed it if you haven't seen it already. Yeah, it sparked an immediate backlash on social media where clips went viral and critics described his outing as an absolute embarrassment. Now, I want to know what you think about it, and the only way we can get to that is to get your opinion on the matter. So I'm going to, of course, I want to go where that interview will not be interrupted. All right, I want to share the interview with you. I think we have to listen to it before we're able to forge a conversation from every commentary, every defense put forward by this administration's spokesperson on Al Jazeera. And if you gave me a moment, I just want to get this out of the way, and then we're in it head first. Welcome, 99.3 Nigeria Info. You on the sunny side, and my name is Joyce. Here is Daniel Bawa's interview on Al Jazeera. We would take it in parts just so that you can have an opportunity to chime in all the areas where conversation with you on this matter would be considered necessary. My name's Joyce. You're on the sunny side. We're Nigeria Info.
And corruption.
Christianity is facing an existential threat in Nigeria.
Nearly 3 years later, international attention is back on the country, with the US launching strikes as a, quote, Christmas present, claiming Nigeria is failing to stop a genocide against its Christian population. But whilst the Nigerian government denies these claims, there's no disputing that wider insecurity is spreading. My guest tonight was once one of the president's fiercest critics, but now serves as his official spokesperson and special advisor, defending the president's efforts to renew hope for Nigeria. I'm Mehdi Hassan, and tonight I go head-to-head with Daniel Bwala. I'll challenge him on Trump's Christian genocide claims, the Nigerian government's failures to protect its own people, and whether President Tinubu profits from corruption. I'll also be joined by our panel of experts. Anu Adeoye, a journalist with the Financial Times, Aisha Osori, a lawyer and development expert with Open Society Foundations, and Tunde Doherty, chairman of the APC ruling party's UK chapter. Daniel Bwala, thank you so much for joining me on Head to Head.
Thank you.
Nigeria is a proud, sovereign, independent nation, a powerhouse in Africa. So why did you just let Donald Trump and the United States bomb your country on Christmas Day?
The United States government did not bomb our country. The decision by the US government was anchored on the intelligence sharing between Nigeria and the United States and the agreement on the operation.
So Donald Trump just didn't bomb Nigeria at his own whim?
No. The US Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, called our own foreign affairs minister when the decision was made that that was the time to strike, and the foreign affairs minister got in touch with the president.
So this was a joint operation, you're saying?
Yes, it was a joint operation. On the Nigerian...
What I don't understand is, how can it be a joint operation?
Yeah.
And Donald Trump says that there is a genocide going on against Christians carried out by Muslims with your government turning a blind eye. You've called that narrative a hoax. Mm-hmm. You said it creates discord in Nigeria.
Right.
So when Donald Trump says he's bombing Nigeria to protect Christians from a genocide, is he lying?
We both disagree as to whether the so-called genocide in Nigeria was against Christians. We believe that it is a targeted killing by insurgents, Boko Haram bandits, and all of these criminal elements against the people of Nigeria, Christians, Muslims, and those who have not identified with any religion. Donald Trump believed it is Christians. We now felt, rather than arguing about whether it is against Christians or not, there is one area we both agree, that we have a joint interest in the fight against terrorism.
But you're fine with the fact that his motivation is something you disagree with. You think it's a hoax.
Yes, because...
So when Donald Trump says there is a genocide against Christians in Nigeria, is he telling the truth?
It is a half-truth, in the sense that, yes, Christians have been affected, but the whole truth is that both Christians, Muslims, and those who have not identified. I said the narrative of Christian genocide was a hoax.
He's pushing it.
That's his opinion. Everybody's entitled to it.
Is he right or wrong?
We believe there is a targeted killing of all Nigerians. Okay. Evidence has shown. And that is where we are focused on fighting terrorism.
So let's talk about the terrorism.
Right.
Trump claimed he targeted, quote, ISIS terrorist scum.
Right.
And every camp got decimated. But a lot of investigative reporting on the ground shows that few, if any, combatants were killed. Some bombs landed in empty fields. A local leader in one of the districts said, the same militants we knew are still there, loitering around our communities.
No, there were killings of terrorists.
That's not what local leaders are saying.
So I can call local television that testified. Arise News did, Channels Television did.
Okay.
So there was the killing of
terrorists. Well, you're not on the ground
with
respect.
No, I didn't.
Al-Haji Bunu, who's a traditional ruler in the district, says, we saw no dead bodies, even where the bombs fell. Those are his words.
No, because the bomb didn't fall in the town. It was at the camp, that enclave, where they gathered.
Are you okay with having the Americans bomb Nigerian people's homes?
I'm not aware of that one.
You're not aware of Morenike Saka, who said, I began to scream for help. I had to crawl my way out of the room. The missile tore through her apartment building, according to the Washington Post. How about Musa Soliu? I was in my room. I was buried under the ruins. I don't know how to restart my life. My belongings are destroyed.
Houses were not destroyed.
Are you telling us that Nigerian citizens are lying about being bombed by the US?
I am saying that the military operation that was conducted on that day was targeted as terrorists, and we hit them.
You have a history of not hitting terrorists and hitting civilians. You know that, right? Your country.
I'm not aware.
Oh, well, on December 21st, the Nigerian Air Force said that they handed over compensation to people who were hit in an accidental airstrike on Christmas Day 2024. Do you just bomb every Christmas?
When and when?
Christmas Day 2024 and Christmas Day 2025.
I dispute that fact.
We'll take it up with the Nigerian Air Force. Let me ask you this. Since President Tinubu came to office in 2023, the situation has worsened in your country. You have a mixture of militant groups, you have bandits, you have clashes between herders and farmers.
We also have
Nigeria is now
incursion of foreign interest in Nigeria.
Nigeria is now the 5th deadliest country in the world. Are you proud of that record?
I acknowledge the fact that we have insecurity in Nigeria, and until the hoax narrative of the Christian genocide, then we began to see back-to-back attack in Nigeria. We had, for the first 2 years of the president's administration, a substantial peace in Nigeria.
Actually, the number of deaths went up on the president's watch.
After this incident of a Christian genocide. And by the way,
when did that begin?
There is no country of the world today that is free from insecurity.
No,
there
I
are
agree.
parts of London you can't go in the evening.
Okay, but we're not bombing London to root out militant training camps.
But you have had so many of the bombing on behalf of the United Kingdom by the United States.
Since you're making rather spurious comparisons.
No, the context
11,000 people were killed in conflict in Nigeria in 2025. That is up from 8,700 in 2023. That is a 26% increase in the number of Nigerians killed since your party and your president came to office. That's a pretty awful record.
It's awful. And we're fighting hard day and night. That's one of the reasons why the president traveled to Turkey, where we had bilateral agreement to deal with insecurity. That's why we're cooperating with the United States of America. That's why we're cooperating with any country of the world. The reason is because since 9/11, terrorism is a global phenomenon.
Agreed.
And so every country is involved in it.
But it's getting worse in Nigeria. That's the problem.
I can't say it is getting worse.
You just agreed with me when I gave you the numbers.
No, I
8,700 killed in 2023, right. 11,000 killed in 2025. That's getting worse.
How many people were killed in the United States last year?
In conflict-related violence? Probably
this is not a conflict. This is an act of terrorism.
Okay. So how many people were killed in the United States in terrorism?
Excuse me, sir.
It wasn't 11,000.
This is part of what Donald Trump, many years ago in his first term, classify the Western media as what? Fake news. The reason is because context matter.
This is not Western media.
You
right?
are well
this
aware.
This is not Western media.
Yes, I understand. But
this is the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data, ACLED, the most respected group that counts conflict-related violence around the world.
Let me ask you, where there is a terrorist
attack, I could also give you another source.
Conflict?
I mean, National Human Rights Commission. This is a Nigerian group. 2,266 people were killed by bandits or insurgents in the first half of 2025. That's more than were killed in all of 2024. You are failing. Amnesty International says you are failing at security. The numbers don't lie.
It's unfortunate, and as a government,
and it's getting worse.
We're working day and night
and it's
to
getting
deal with
worse.
that situation. I don't agree to the fact that it's getting worse.
How can it not get worse if more people die in 1 year than the previous year?
Context matters.
What's the context?
The context is not getting worse.
What?
Yes.
The context is not getting worse.
The context is that it is not getting worse because you see, this is a water, right?
Okay.
If you have the water half, you could say half glass filled or half empty.
Yeah.
Isn't it right?
Yeah.
So the Western media always see Nigeria, Africa, and some of the activities in Africa as half empty. Excuse me. But we see it as half full because when we look at it, and when I say context matter, before the president took the oath of office, we knew the situation in Nigeria.
And you made it worse.
When he made the decision to take bold step to put Nigeria in better trajectory, we were well aware of the fact that it was going to incense lots of people.
Okay.
We are also
You've
aware.
made your point. I get the glass half full. I get the context. I also understand basic mathematics. Let me ask you this. President Tinubu only declared a national emergency in November of 2025, brought in a raft of policy changes after Trump declared your country to be a country of particular concern for failing to deal with the threat of Christians. Does
more talk, news, and sports after this.
What is health? It's more than the absence of illness. It's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. But let's delve deeper. Health is the heartbeat of life. It's the rhythm that keeps us moving forward. The pulse that echoes our vitality. It's a symphony of balance and harmony, resonating in every aspect of our existence. Health is a silent conductor, orchestrating the dance between the body and mind. It's the energy that propels us towards our dreams and aspirations. It is the foundation upon which we build our futures. So, what is health to you? Join me, Kofi Bartels, this and every Thursday for Health Thursday, 8 a.m. on the Morning Crossfire as we explore important issues affecting your health. Only on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
When it comes to wiring your home, office, or project, you need to prioritize strength, safety, and quality. Introducing Golden Lion Copper Wire FZE. Our wires are 100% pure copper, designed to support stable conductivity and consistent performance.
Whether for domestic or industrial use, Golden Lion Copper Wire has got you covered. Built to withstand heat, tension, and heavy-duty use.
And that's not all. You get great quality at factory direct pricing. No middleman, no complications.
So, what are you waiting for? Place your order for Golden Lion Copper Wire today. We also manufacture solar fans and electrical sockets.
Call 0911 059 9999 or visit goldenlion.ng. Available through distributor at Alaba Market or directly from our factory.
Golden Lion Copper Wire, powering Nigeria with pure copper strength.
The round of 16 delivered gripping debates, fearless arguments, and brilliant young minds stepping up to the challenge. Now the journey continues as the quarterfinals of I Beg to Differ kick off on Monday. At 4 p.m., Supreme Education Foundation School faces Hallifield Schools debating the motion. Frequent defection of politicians weakens Nigeria's democracy. Then at 5 p.m., Great Solid Rock College faces Square College on the motion. Artificial intelligence will make humans intellectually lazy. I am Yvonne Ochaifo. Join Femi Abong-Daniels and me as two schools advance to the semifinals on Monday. I Beg to Differ Season 9. 32 debaters, now 8. One winner, one grand title, the champion of champions. Supported by Obi Weezy. For sponsorship inquiries, send an email to info@nigeriainfo.fm or I Beg to Differ @nigeriainfo.fm. I Beg to Differ, the tournament of champions.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back.
We are back.
We're back on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
I get the context. I also understand basic mathematics. Let me ask you this. President Tinubu only declared a national emergency in November of 2025, brought in a raft of policy changes after Trump declared your country to be a country of particular concern for failing to deal with the threat of Christians. Does your government only spring into action when it is internationally shamed into doing so?
Unfortunately for you, 6 months before that, we arrested the leaders of Lakurawa and Boko Haram. Some months before that, we killed a certain number of terrorists that the U.S. government, State Department, commended Nigeria. The U.S.
You only brought in a national emergency.
U.S. Embassy celebrated the fact of the exploits of Nigeria before Donald Trump said that.
But again, he shamed you and you declared a national emergency. You didn't do it before he shamed you.
We declared the national emergency 6 months before Donald Trump's statement.
No, that's not true.
The president
it was in November
of Nigeria,
2025.
No. Much earlier, around, I think, April or May, the president declared national emergency on insecurity.
But the actual national emergency was in November.
How can it be
let's
actual?
Talk about, people can look this up. Let's talk about kidnappings.
Yeah.
The world remembers Chibok in 2014, when 276 schoolgirls were taken by the militant group Boko Haram. Very little has changed, unfortunately, in Nigeria. Just last November, 250 students and staff were kidnapped from St. Mary's Catholic School in Niger State. 2 years into Tinubu's presidency, Nigerian research firm SBM Intelligence said, and I quote, Nigeria's kidnap for ransom crisis has consolidated into a structured, profit-seeking industry. That's embarrassing for your country that you have a kidnapping industry.
I agree with the fact that the insecurity associated with kidnapping has now become a crisis economy. But much more than that, I know of our government's effort in dealing with that insecurity. If you have
Bring to you real issues, real conversations.
For a nation that wants free, fair, just elections.
It's 1 o'clock.
The news update on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Good afternoon to you. I am Buluwatife Jegede with the news. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has praised the role of women in national development on International Women's Day. He commended women at home and in the diaspora for their strength and resilience. The president also pledged continued support to ensure every Nigerian girl can learn and contribute to the nation's progress. A fire broke out around 8:20 a.m. Monday at Section C of the Office of the Head of Service of the Federation Building in Abuja. Staff were safely evacuated as emergency responders battled the blaze. Officials say the fire has been contained and an investigation into the cause will begin once the situation is fully under control. And the Court of Appeal will soon deliver judgment on the leadership dispute in the People's Democratic Party. Factions loyal to party governors and to Nyesom Wike say that they are confident of a favorable outcome. The dispute is linked to rival conventions and legal battles over the National Working Committee and Caretaker Committee appointments. Meanwhile, the party secretariat in Abuja remains closed. And finally, shipping disruptions in the Strait of Hormuz are raising fears of tighter global fuel supply and higher energy costs. Global oil prices have surged past $100 a barrel as the US-Israel-Iran conflict disrupts energy supplies. Brent crude briefly climbed above $119 before easing to around $110. That's the news on 99.3 Nigeria Info. You can follow us everywhere on social media on 99.3 Nigeria Info, and you can also call us if you have any news tip for us. You can call us on 01-465-7175. Thank you so much for staying with us. I am Buluwatife Jegede. The sunny side with Joyce continues.
Let us start
stand in the gaps for you
and connect you to the rest of the world.
And Russia's defense minister Sergei Shoigu is shown on state television visiting troops fighting in Ukraine. The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries has raised Nigeria's oil production quota.
In all we do, we remain committed to informing you.
It's 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Your station for talk.
Industry. That's embarrassing for your country that you have a kidnapping
Yes,
industry.
I agree with the fact that the insecurity associated with kidnapping has now become a crisis economy. But much more than that, I know of our government's effort in dealing with that insecurity. If you have a little understanding of the nature and the boundary and the geographical measurement of Nigeria and the tendency for insecurity to come in, then you will understand that we're fighting a hydra-headed insecurity situation. With respect to the kidnapping of children, the government has taken measures already. We've introduced what we call Save the School, where students and schools that are in remote places where there is no security are brought back into state capital where they get the education that they need.
But Nigerian people don't believe you. 2 out of 3 Nigerians say that
Where did
security...
you get that information?
Africa Barometer. May of 2024, 2 out of 3 Nigerians say security agencies are handling the abduction of Nigerians fairly badly or very badly. 1 in 3 Nigerians say they personally know someone who's been kidnapped.
Yeah, you have
These
a
are stunning statistics. Amnesty, Human Rights Watch have lined up to say that you have allowed impunity to flourish, you have failed to apply lessons from previous attacks, damning indictments of your security
According to you, that's not what they said.
That's
That
not what
is
Amnesty
not
said?
what yes. Amnesty...
I've literally got the quote right here.
Quote it.
The authorities' failure has allowed impunity to flourish and the killings to spread to many parts of the country.
Source.
Amnesty International, February 8th, 2026.
Well, I'm not aware of that one.
You're not aware of that one?
I am
at
aware.
The weekend,
I'm aware.
At the weekend, you put out a video to music of you and a team researching and prepping for this show. And yet every time I've asked you something, you say, I'm not aware of that. What were you researching in that video?
You're really funny. Let me tell you
ask
this.
you a serious question. Amnesty International, you asked me for a source, I read out the source. You asked me for a date, I read out the date. What's your response other than picking up glasses of water?
No, Amnesty has a history of calling everything bad.
Okay.
I
think that's what every authoritarian government in the world has said.
What is Amnesty's report about U.S.?
Bad.
Not just bad. You didn't use the word bad. You read.
Yeah,
what
very
they
bad.
said.
Governments who do bad things, they all criticize human rights groups.
No.
Yeah, they do. I do this for a
that.
living. Let's ask about corruption before we go to our panel who are waiting patiently here. Transparency International, they say systemic corruption continues to plague the defense sector, causes a major hindrance to security. President Tinubu said in August, there is no more corruption in Nigeria. That's a ridiculous thing to say, is it not?
We investigate any case of corruption, not just in the defense, but anywhere in government. This administration has had lots of people who are in government, either sacked or investigated and being prosecuted. The resolve of our administration in dealing with corruption is obvious.
Why did he say there's no more corruption?
You probably read him out of context.
No, I didn't.
Read exactly what he said. You're cherry picking. How can someone just stand and say there is no corruption in Nigeria?
It is getting clearer to the people. We have more money to the economy and no more corruption. Full stop, close quote.
Good. So this is the context. He was communicating to the people about the exploit we're having as a result of the decision to remove fuel subsidy. We dealt with the question of corruption in the oil industry.
And that's not what he said, but okay, he didn't say anything about the oil industry.
That's why I say context matters.
Well, you can't just make up the context. He didn't say anything about the oil industry. He said we have more money to the economy and no more corruption. In fact, he was criticized in Nigeria for this. Last question on this. How can Nigerians take Tinubu seriously on eliminating corruption when he appoints someone like Abubakar Bagudu as Minister of Budget and Economic Planning, a man who, according to the US Justice Department, with others, embezzled, misappropriated, defrauded, and extorted billions with a B from the government of Nigeria under the dictator Sani Abacha. Bagudu avoided criminal charges. He cut a deal with the Nigerian government, returned some of the money. But the president literally put Nigeria's budget in the hands of a man who's accused of looting billions of dollars.
You started your introduction by saying it's a sovereign country. The decision of the court in the United States does not bind the Supreme Court of Nigeria.
But he gave $163 million. And that man is now in charge of the Nigerian budget. You're okay with that?
I think
Do you think it's funny? I mean,
No,
two-thirds of
you
Nigerians
think it's funny.
No, I don't. I think people who are giving $163 million back shouldn't be in charge of the country's budget.
Thank you for your observation.
Okay, but do you think they should be in charge of the budget?
There's no evidence that that minister has misappropriated funds in the government of Nigeria.
Why did he give back $163 million?
To Nigeria or to the U.S.
To
government?
Nigeria.
Why did the U.S. government give him $100 million?
It's a settlement. That's what you do in settlements.
Okay.
Why was he settling?
Yeah, so
okay.
if they
So you're comfortable with a guy
us.
who is accused by the U.S. Justice Department of embezzling with the Sani Abacha regime billions of dollars, being in charge of the budget
Are
today?
you okay with a president of one of the countries in the world who was convicted by the courts in that land and the person is still governing the country?
Who are you referring
No,
to?
I'm just asking.
But which country?
Okay, are you also okay? Are you also okay?
Because if it's Donald Trump, I'm a well-known Trump supporter.
Are you also okay with the prime minister of a country who was accused of making a wrong judgment in an appointment that led to a lot of problem, but he has not resigned, he's still governing? Are you okay with that?
Well, by the time this show airs, he may have resigned. So your argument
Now
that
that
Keir
it has come
Starmer
to light-
and Donald Trump, basically everyone else is corrupt. Okay. Let's go to our panel on that. I'm joined by Aisha Osori, a lawyer and writer with the Open Society Foundations. Aisha, how would you rank this government's record when it comes to security?
On a scale of 1 to 10, I would say 1. And I think one thing that I haven't heard in the conversation so far is that since President Tinubu came into office, we have no diplomatic presence in any of the major capitals. And the reason why this is tied to insecurity, for example, let's use our borders with Chad, Niger, Cameroon. When you have no diplomatic presence in those areas, then you're not able to engage on the insecurity. We talked about kidnapping a few minutes ago. There must be a link between the atrocious amounts of money that are being raised by kidnappers. Over $1 billion in 2024, according to the
ransoms.
From ransoms. That must be what's fueling the insecurity. So there's a link between the kidnapping industry and the rising insecurity. So killing a bunch of terrorists while constantly there's a wave of terrorists coming in through the borders from Chad, from Niger. Again, another thing that's been alleged is that President Tinubu's bad handling of the coup in Niger, where he said we were going to attack them, was one of the triggers for these countries, Niger and Burkina Faso, leaving ECOWAS. I'm just saying all of that is connected.
Yes. So let me bring in Tunde Doherty, who is the UK chairman of the All Progressives Congress Party, the party of the president. What is your response to Aisha when she says 1 out of 10 security rating for your country?
Definitely, what Aisha is saying, well, does not really have bearing. We have the diplomat that does fulfill the policies of government. And in terms of the security situation we're talking about in Nigeria, it's not today's thing. And we must look at the solutions that this government has put into force. You find out that the security architecture in Nigeria has been changed. We talk about the collaboration between the government and the United States in terms of dealing with insurgencies right there and then. Because, you know, Nigerians don't manufacture most of this high-tech required equipment to deal with such situations. The president, the government, is really doing quite fantastic work in making sure that they fight these insurgents, collaborating with all factors or all countries that is ready to work with them.
Let's bring in Anu Adeoye, a journalist for the Financial Times who recently covered Nigeria and West Africa. Anu, we can't talk about insecurity without also talking about the economy and the underlying social economic issues. Is the average Nigerian both safer and better off under President Tinubu?
The obvious answer is no, right? And before I get to that, I want to talk to what Daniel said. I always find it very interesting with Nigerian government officials who cherry pick statistics about the US and the UK, but they never say how many hours of uninterrupted electricity has the United States had compared to how many Nigeria has had. They never try and find, you know, the good statistics that Nigerians don't benefit from. If you look at the poverty numbers, this is according to the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. More than 120 million Nigerians are living in multi-dimensional poverty. So that's not just people who lack $2 a day. That's people who can't afford food, who can't afford shelter. And even if you look at the numbers of the people who have died, right? These are wartime numbers for a country that is officially not at war. And so I think it's really, really difficult to make an argument and say, you know, things are trending in the right direction.
Casualty numbers, wrong direction. Poverty numbers, wrong direction.
Right. You know, we were very clear with the Nigerian people when the decision was made. It will bring discomfort temporarily, but the long term is what we are promising. We decided to also involve intervention mechanism in dealing with some of the hardship that the people undergo. Now, when that decision was made in May 2023, it was hellish. But as I speak to you today, the numbers, the indices And the stats are favorable to the economic reform that we have introduced. Our foreign reserve has increased substantially. Our net import dependency went down. Our export production capacity has gone up. Our naira is strengthened. We have provided opportunities for families who could not afford to send their kids to school to access grant and go and have their education, cost of fee, tuition fee, as well as the cost of living.
You mentioned school. 20,000 schools in Nigeria have been shut in the last few months because of these kidnapping attacks.
Correct.
18 million Nigerian school children are not going to school, according to the UN. That is the highest number anywhere in the world.
Because
You're proud of that?
No, I'm not proud of that because of insecurity. But the measures we are taking now, we're restoring them back to their schools. And some of them whose schools are located in places where there are no governed spaces, we're bringing them back into towns. So when you give out your stats or your opinion about an issue, also incorporate this fact so that the viewer will look at, yes, there is an obvious fact that because of the policy decision that it brought kind of untold hardship, but also we are making progress in this regard.
So I agree with you. That's a fair point. We should look at things in the round, and you pointed out things you've done well. But then you need to do the same thing. Do you accept then that the poverty numbers are going in the wrong direction?
Yeah, sure. It's like
that's the crucial one for a lot of Nigerians.
No, but numbers don't lie.
141 million people in 2026 are going to be living in poverty in
and
Nigeria.
Then I explain,
62% of the population.
Then I explain to you why. Context matters.
I agree context matters. It's a failure. What you did produced 62% in poverty.
So the IMF, the World Bank, and the Brentwood, they have applauded the reform decision we took. Now, tell me one country of the world that will introduce that kind of reform and there won't be consequential effect in terms of even in the United Kingdom, as we speak, there is a cost of living crisis. Are you aware?
No, I'm not aware of that. Let me.
The sunny side. All right, so I thought we'll get your commentary on much of what you have heard so far, the good part of this administration, and the implications of this administration's policy on the lives of Nigerians. And I think something is very interesting by my observation. It's that you may also be aware of that. It's that maybe it's not just this administration alone, but of course now we're in this administration, so we'll speak of our present. How we evaluate collective progression is not off of what is obtainable locally, but obtainable on what someone else says, like what the IMF will say. And the tragedy of that is that politics is one thing, and the invisible hand behind politics is something else. So a very good example will be, you look at insecurity, and you realize, like commonsensically, if something is wrong, you fix it. Straightforwardly, you remove whatever is bringing about a bottleneck in order to achieve a resolution to a matter. But if you look at how many years this has taken, something becomes obvious, even though you may not have verbalized it, which is that the reason this is complex is because, one, a group of persons, powerful, influential, are benefiting from this. Two, even though the government say that they are fighting, well, even the government themselves have, on different occasions, whether straightforwardly or otherwise, suggested or maybe in verbatim stated that many of the people who, or some of the persons who may be sponsoring the terrorism are in government. So when you look at the other obstacles that may impede a successful achievement to a particular expectation, then you realize, okay, so the problem gets a little bit more complex. I say that to say that if you are in support of this administration, my persuasion is that you have a thing or two in a positive sense to say about our collective progress. If this is otherwise, if you don't think that we are advancing, and Daniel is a representation of the mind of this administration, welcome to Nigeria Info. Let's talk. Let's talk about the mind of this administration. Let's talk about the context in which the death of 50 people is not, it needs to be contextualized for their death to have a certain weight and meaning, where poverty needs to be contextualized for poverty to have a weight and meaning for whatever else you deem the government is responsible for. And given context, suddenly we can shift from a lack of comprehension to a solid comprehension that makes the problem easier to understand and accept, because I like the fact that Daniel consistently suggests that there is context to whatever we call problems in this country. But for some very interesting reason, whatever that context is, has failed to bring about ease and weight, bring about resolution, and even more interestingly, has proved that our government appears to be struggling even with their own context. Or maybe the only reason our problems persist would be the context. Because maybe if this was a serious matter, as serious as the matter appears to be, that context alone is force enough to bring about an actual end to all the things we've been complaining about, particularly insecurity. Oh, electricity, I was going to have a conversation around that this afternoon, and how all the monies put into electricity has failed to give us constant electric supply or electricity supply in this nation. And then you have to put a lack of electricity into context for suddenly lack of electricity to mean you're going to win 20 years from now, for lack of electricity today to mean you're not losing anything besides not having electricity. You're not losing life. You're not losing time. You're not losing other material and immaterial value as a consequence of a lack of electricity. Context, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Joyce. Welcome. Let's talk. Nigeria Info. Good afternoon to you.
Hello.
Welcome.
Yeah, good afternoon, Joyce. My name is Tony.
Welcome, Tony.
Yes. You see, I sympathize with Nigerians. As a matter of fact, that gentleman, the anchor of that interview, sincerely, he escaped a lot of things that he ought to have asked Buala. It was just minor facts that he was able to present to Buala. And he goofed. Because God had a way of exposing things. This is step one. This is step one of this bad government that came to punish Nigerians. And the funny thing is people are giving them support. The monies that Tinubu is supposed to put into the system and make life better for Nigerians, he hijacked them and is fishing them out as handouts to people for people to support him with the cruel agenda. You understand? So the anchor of that interview really disgraced Buala. There's this proverb they say in Igbo land. They say the hand of one's poison later enters the person's mouth. That is exactly what played out. That is what played out. It is a disgrace, and it will keep unfolding. On no aspect of this country that's a relief. Nothing. No aspect. No light. No job. No food. No money. No nothing. No security. No nothing. Nothing.
Context.
And Buala will be comparing Nigeria with United States, UK. See, it will keep unfolding. It is a shame. It is a shame on Tinubu. It is a shame on APC. Thank you.
Don't you think context is necessary for you to not be particularly triggered by what appears to be the failure of the government to meet your every need?
George, there's nothing like context here. We live in we live in Nigeria here. What you see, what you feel is what you will assume as context.
Well,
you understand?
Thank you.
We don't believe in figures. What we see, what we air, the way we receive the air is what we know. So he's being political and he's talking trash.
Oh well, I can understand your lack of acceptance of his position. Thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate. 0201-2770-993, 0201-465-7190, WhatsApp 08095975805. The sunny side. My name's Joyce. Welcome. Good afternoon to you. Give me a moment. You're on the sunny side. Good afternoon to you. Welcome to Nigeria Info. Can you hear us?
Good afternoon.
Welcome. Tell us your name. You can go ahead.
My name is Osas. calling from Ogutu.
Good to have you.
Do you know why Bola has the courage or the effrontery to be talking like that? Maybe because his family, that he has been settled on his own aspect of his own bargain, you know. You see, instead of him comparing Nigeria with the UK and the US and the rest of them, let him compare Nigeria with other African countries first. Maybe like people like maybe Morocco, Egypt, and the rest of them. That way should do first. You should even compare. You know, the problem with these people is that they just see, maybe they thought they were talking to people from NTA. So that's why how they got to be saying all things. Seriously speaking, maybe you thought it was in NTA that you can just show when they are talking, say, let me speak. Why, I was expecting him to even tell the man not to allow him to talk safe. He just wanted to go and embarrass himself and his family. I pray that anything is happening now, it will happen to his family, and they will feel the pain and the anguish that Nigerians are going through.
What about
in any which way?
What about the context?
What context? Is it the one that made the statement? What context?
Half full, half what's that?
Half
full, half empty.
Even the man didn't want the interview. I didn't want to embarrass him any further. That's why he just swept outside the way, you know. If not, that guy, maybe they just set him up to go get there to go and be embarrassed. That's what I'm thinking. Because for him to, he's not supposed to go and speak on behalf of Tinubu, knowing what he has said about Tinubu in the past.
I need to find.
He's not supposed to be the one there, be in that place to even talk at all. He doesn't have any more justification to even talk on that speak concerning Tinubu at all.
Thank you very much for calling me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. The Sunny Side. Welcome. My name's Joyce. What's your name? Good to have you on Nigeria Info. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
Pardon me. I sincerely do apologize. I just only observed now.
So you calling from Ikeja?
Yeah, Nabiko, you have to give me a moment. I want to go off on a break and I'll be right back, please. I appreciate it.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We'll be right back.
What is health? It's more than the absence of illness. It's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. But let's delve deeper. Health is the heartbeat of life. It's the rhythm that keeps us moving forward. The pulse that echoes our vitality. It's a symphony of balance and harmony, resonating in every aspect of our existence. Health is a silent conductor, orchestrating the dance between the body and mind. It's the energy that propels us towards our dreams and aspirations. It is the foundation upon which we build our futures. So, what is health to you? Join me, Kofi Bartels, this and every Thursday for Health Thursday, 8 a.m. on the Morning Crossfire as we explore important issues affecting your health. Only on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Open the doors to the conversations that move you.
Lagos State enforcement teams carried out cleanup and anti-crime operations.
These are businessmen over Nigeria, and they are very serious.
This INEC, did they change a new thing to conduct election?
You cannot be whipping me with Koboko and Scorpion, and then you expect me to come and vote for you.
I hear some of us opposition is not ready. When the ruling party don't want opposition to exist, what do we do?
These people are just changing figures and cleaning. You can't keep it tiring.
All of us sit down and entertain a conversation where we cannot put internet in one village.
On your favorite dial, 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
If an agent has already used you for practice, if guaranteed visa stories have finished your savings, if your head is already hot over this Jackpot matter, if Jackpot has crossed your mind even once, if you were tired of hearing I was scammed or my agent disappeared, if you want to relocate with sense, clarity, and correct information, then don't miss the edition of Jackpot Seminar with Uzo. This is not motivation talk. This is not social media packaging. It's real experts, real migration pathways, and honest conversations about relocating abroad, not social media noise. We'll break down step by step which visa pathways are legit, which school options make sense, how scammers manipulate people, and how millions are lost like it's nothing.
to school and relocation pathways, to common scams and costly mistakes, and if money has been slowing you down, travel loan is available, tuition loan is available, so lack of funds will not stop correct planning. And we make clear something very important. We do not grant visas, no guarantees, no shortcuts, no lies. What we give you is verified information, trusted processes, and the knowledge to avoid fraudulent agents and fake promises. Because the goal is not just to japa, the goal is to japa right. Tell your siblings, tell anybody tired of stories and scams, because Japa Seminar with Uzo is for people who want clarity, not confusion. And it's on the 14th of March 2026 at the ITF building, 5th floor, Crenshaw Williams Avenue, Ifonri, Costain, Bus Stop, Lagos. 12 noon prompt. Access fee is 20,000. If you keep saying I'm still thinking, you will hear stories. If you act now, you secure your seat immediately. Register now, no excuses, not tomorrow. Japa Seminar with Uzo, no packaging, no scams, just real scent. Japa Seminar with Uzo is not a trend, it's a movement. For more inquiries or information, please contact 080-238-31303 or 080-23770699, 080-23770699. Japa Seminar with Uzo.
Thank you. 99.3 Nigeria Info, the sunny side. I'm back to the telephone lines, but before we go back there, some Nigerians, of course, on social media, given an opinion about the interview. But interestingly, someone decided to piece together many of, maybe not many, just a handful of Daniel Bwala's own statements, which he denied on that particular interview. It's about 2 minutes. I want to play it, and then we pick up the conversation again from where we left off. If this conversation forges ahead sharply, then we would probably would put the phone calls on pause and then get right back to the interview, because I would love for you to hear it and feel the pulse of the spirit behind the governance that is or was your choice, in case this is anything to inform your next decision moving forward. Here is what some Nigerians on X did. Maybe one Nigerian.
Never created a militia. Tinubu is one of the foremost politicians in Nigerian history.
Tinubu and his people created
democracy.
a militia. Who said those words, Daniel?
Tinubu has helped in strengthening democracy in
Tinubu
Nigeria.
and his people created a militia, Daniel. Who said those words?
Tinubu brought in leadership
I'll ask a third
skills
time.
into governance.
Tinubu and his people created a militia. Who said those words?
Tinubu and his people never created the militias.
So why did you say they did on January 22nd, 2023?
I never said that.
The candidate of All Progressives Congress, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his people created a militia. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria we're seeing a political party creating a militant arm leading to election.
Does he have a militia that tried to kill you?
He doesn't have. I never said he tried to kill me.
I myself have received threats from him and his camp. Your words.
I never said that.
There is also this threat to life, and I can tell you that because I myself have received threats from Asiwaju and his camp.
You said it was so corrupt, the 2023 election, Tinubu's win. You said that you couldn't eat food for 3 days.
I never said that. Where?
And legitimate complaints were raised all over Nigeria. That part is what threw me off balance. In fact, I became so sick. For the past 3 days, I found it very hard eating food.
Tinubu is not just super rich. It's what he does with his wealth. In 2019, 2 armored money trucks, bullion vans, were seen going into his house, coming out of his house. Where did that money go?
No. Point, did you see the money? Or those who reported, did they see money inside the bullion van?
Was there no money in the bullion vans?
How am I to know?
You said it was money in the vans at the time.
I never
2023, February.
But there is only one person in Nigeria who is alleged to have moved money through bullion vans, and that person is on their ballot as the presidential candidate.
On the eve of the presidential elections, 2 cash-laden bullion vans, your words, were seen on the premises, which was ostensibly for vote buying. Your words, January 22nd, 2023.
Have
you just disowned everything you've said in order to work for this president?
I'm coming. What you just said now, I want to put it on record, on my own honor. That's not what I said.
So that is honor now. Before you disagree or debate it, we're going to put that statement in context on his honor in context. Because if you don't put it in context,
you can't understand it.
If you don't put it in context, there is no honor. All right, 99.3 Nigeria Info, the sunny side. And it's very interesting what politics can be. Do you remember the interview with a gentleman who is now late, who was on Arise television with Rufai? And there was this scruffle, an actual argument between Rufai and the gentleman, Mr. Onokwasa. And after that particular fallout, a few months later, he was on Arise television, this time around with Abati. And what he said, I would love to play at a later point in this particular unraveling of the conversation on the sunny side. It's to highlight what is obtainable in politics. That, you can buy a man, A man really has a price. And depending on who the piper is, the tune can conflict, but the person who paid the piper knows exactly the rhythm per moment. Welcome to 99.3 Nigeria Info. We're live streaming on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM on YouTube. My name's Joyce. It's 33 minutes past 1 p.m. And remember, it's politics and context is necessary. With that said, let's talk. Hello, how are you? Nigeria
Hello,
Info,
Joyce. I'm so lucky today. This will be calling back.
Thank you. Go ahead. I need to take that out.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is what you just did. Because people wouldn't understand that the first step you play, this is exactly short and simple, where Daniel Buala made a mess of himself. Because he cannot defend APC. You cannot. This has shown that APC is difficult to defend. You see, the issue here is that the Daniel Buala, this is not the issue of speaking grammar. This is not Ruben Abati or Rufai Hussein or Kofi Bate that they can bully and talk down. You see the way he's been messed up in the, what do you call him, Al Jazeera. So when he's going next time, sincerely speaking, he should put on pampas and other things, because I don't know what will happen. From the experience he got now, I don't know what will happen next.
To be fair to Daniel's position, he is speaking for a government. I think he has earned today's pay. I honestly think so. Remember his politics. And
yeah, Joyce, and I believe if you were the one, if we are the Daniel Buala, I will own up. And I said I did that when I didn't know that this man was like this.
He did. Now there was an aspect of the conversation where he did. There was no, he actually did. There was an aspect of the conversation where he was asked, "You were against this particular administrator or president, and then now you work for him." And he did say, "Well, I had a particular understanding of this president, and when he showed me that the Muslim ticket was not going to be any disadvantage to the Nigerian people, I changed my mind." He at some point owned it.
So why was he lying over the things he said? That
now,
is my ground. He wouldn't have lied over the things. You see, this is the technology does not lie now. That's where he goofed now. He wouldn't have lied over those things. That is where the problem is. And the thing has brought disgrace. I don't know how his family would feel about this, Joyce. Even Nigerians are saying we are worried, because they will see Nigerians in the same light. They will think that we lie too much. Already we have been called liars all over the world. This is going to confirm it completely. Joyce, this is unfair now. This so much infrastructure thing is causing too much problem for us in this country. Thank you. God bless you.
Well, thank you so much for calling me. 99.3 Nigeria Info. You're on the sunny side. Good afternoon to you. Welcome. What's your name?
Hello, good afternoon, Joy.
Good afternoon, welcome. Tell us your name, go ahead.
This is AB calling from Ekpe. Why we be like this for Nigeria, for goodness sake? You see, when I was watching that interview, at a point, the interviewer, Mahid, he was stunned and he had to call for a break. I don't understand. Why we like this? Why do we destroy ourselves? In fact, another thing, we like to carry emotion and weak sentiment and garnish it with I don't know what to call it. How will you bring his family and children into it? This is wrong. in a national radio. Please, you should correct those people. Are you getting me? That guy did very well. And see, let me tell you something. See, I think we need to appreciate the president for being a magnanimous person, to forgive those who spoke bad. I've never seen somebody like that before. In fact, that's why I think that the family, the marriage between him and his wife is working. I've never seen somebody of that nature. People talk against you, kick against you, and yet you brought them into your government. Oh my God. See, I don't know, Nigeria. See, when I was very young, I used to ask myself that why is Nigeria not working? But I understand now because, we always think upside down, even the media. I don't understand.
You're not making any points. Pardon me. I'm really trying to understand where you were going. Is there a fault you're trying to find here?
My point is that why are we bashing DB, Daniel Bwala? He did well.
Oh.
I watched that review. At a point, they clapped for him. He said something. He asked a question. The journalist wanted to put him in a corner, but he was able to skate through, and they clapped for him. Did you watch that interview? I watched it from beginning to the end.
Okay.
Why we like this in this country, for goodness sake? Sorry, let me say this before I go. See, let me tell you something. Those people that are speaking like this, I think they are those that did not vote for this president, and they will not vote for him, and he doesn't need their votes.
All right.
Are you getting me? So we know those who will vote for him. So they should stop being mischievous. Thank you very much.
Thank you. 99.3 Nigeria Info, the sunny side. Good to have you join our conversation. Welcome to Nigeria Info. My name's Joyce. What's your name?
Yeah, good afternoon, Joyce.
Afternoon to you. Thank you for being here. Tell us your name. Go ahead.
Madoka from Festac. I hear a lot of people saying that Daniel Bwala, whatever his name, is graced himself, or that's not even the situation. Daniel Bwala is just an attack dog that attacks on contract. His matter of stomach. What can say? The import of that interview is that there's a lie that Nigerians been painted in the outside world. And when Nigerians talk about Bwala, this is not about Bwala, it's about we Nigerians. That we are so docile. We think that will happen in another country and Nigerians will make noise. It's happening right here. And nothing is happening. It's about the intellectuals, people, Nigerians that will move around the whole world, speaking about theories, talking, and they are some of them are working with the president, and they can't even look him in the eyes and say, hey, we are going the wrong way. We have people who have worked in World Bank somewhere that are around him that have failed to tell him, Mr. President, hey, you don't have a roadmap. We are not heading anywhere. We are just doing scattered program. We'll do this one. It works or not, we'll leave. We'll do this one. We're not coordinating things to move in a definite direction. It is about the fact that Nigeria, as we speak, has no effective president. It is something that every Nigerian should be ashamed of, that interview. That interview is a summary of what Nigeria is currently is to the world. If any person in America, in South America, in Europe, in anywhere wants to know what is the state of Nigeria, just listen to that interview. You get what it is. A docile people, where there's insecurity, where kidnap happens, where people can say something today, change tomorrow, just to get the money. It's a summary. And unless we decide to change things, this thing will continue for another 4 years, or taking 8 years, and they can imagine how degraded this country and how we are viewed will be seen by outside world. We need to act. Thank you, Joyce.
Thank you so much. I do appreciate you calling me. We're going to have to quickly go to WhatsApp so that we're everything to all men, which is an impossibility, but I'll try. WhatsApp.
Good afternoon, Joyce. It's obviously impossible to defend this government without sounding or looking foolish. Good afternoon, Joyce. The devil is the father of lies, but the APC is the great grandfather of lies. The party lies more than devil himself. It's obvious that whoever joins the APC automatically becomes an unrepentant liar. Daniel Bwala has drunk from the cup of the most wicked political party in Africa, and now he has become a lying addict. We are in for it, in the words of Mr. Chris.
You know, I wonder. There's a nuance there. I mean, it's there's something there. It's that you think Daniel Bwala drank from a cup. Do you think he drank from a cup, or
he is the cup?
He-
He's part of
because-
what is
because
of the water.
Because you want to put his position and make it the responsibility of somebody else. I don't think so. I think he is who he is.
Mm-hmm.
You see, when you watch that interview, or as you have heard it on Nigeria Info, there is absolutely no reason for you to be. I had to say that to myself this morning. Like, there's really no reason for you to be offended. You know, every emotion that you can expend on this will be worthless. You have to appreciate it for what it is, and then do what you will with that information. It's that people are who they are, and an opportunity reveals it. It's really just that. I don't think anybody is seducing anybody. I mean, given the fact that you can have a sugar daddy who can pay any price. Don't let me finish my thought.
Someone sent a picture. He said, once you join APC, common sense becomes like this cup, half full, half empty. Like he said. Hello, Joyce. About our opinion about Daniel Wallace's interview is that it appears both half full and half empty. And we are not. And we are not fully aware of this context. Yeah, he's going there.
Oh, good.
And we are not
Good.
And we are not fully aware of this context in which the interview was conducted. Wallace's context is a pretext. The man was pathetic throughout the interview, and his subsequent his subsequent post-interview outburst shows he lacks shame. Thank God the world is keeping record of all the shenanigans of Tinubu government and administration. Bwala is the weeping boy of this interview. As much as he tried to defend the government, he ended up putting the government much in the mud. Just as Daniel failed to convince his interviewers of any good thing, his government has done so to Nigerians. Tinubu government has failed the Nigerians woefully, context or no context. On one side, I sympathize with Nigerians. On the other hand, I know the West paints African and African leaders as bad while they have their own to focus on. Yeah, Tinubu is doing what he can do, but he's failing at some things. When you look at the context, good. They are trying, but it has eaten deep into the system, and there needs to be purged from inside out. Hello, Joyce. Thanks for playing the interview. It's the most disgraceful and embarrassing interview I've seen. What a shame. People should go and watch it to fully appreciate the helplessness and tension all over Bwala's face. This government, more than anyone or anything else, is heavily demarketing the country from JD in London. Good afternoon, Samuel from Ogun State. On the interview play on your radio station now, lies and truth could be likened to smoke perceived by people's judgment to determine which is right or false. The gentleman on the hot seat is not speaking the truth, rather is churning out doubt on security and corruption that other countries perceived in their so-called renewed hope. Adegogo from Lekki. Daniel Bwala is actually a disgrace. This APC government is trying so hard to defend their incompetence. The lack of electricity is so abysmal. The weather is very hot as we speak. Even with solar power and the fan on, it's still hot. Do you want to talk about the gross failure to make our refineries work? I do everything for myself. Since I was born I've only benefited from Nigeria in the 80s. But when democracy took over, I have never benefited anything. Not to talk about the present useless APC government. The Nigeria present situation is like someone inside the river and soap is entering one's eye.
Is it possible that you guys are lacking context? Because maybe there's a context that can afford you a vantage point. I want to go to the telephone lines.
Okay.
Telephone lines. Context. Hello, welcome to the show. Nigeria Info.
Good afternoon, Joyce.
Thank you for being here. Tell us your name. Go ahead.
My name is Robert. Joyce, the voice note you played is necessary, but for me, not you per se. That interview is necessary to listen to, but for me, it's not important. What I say so is that we don't expect an appointee of a government that is doing badly, so to say, to attend an interview and is being asked about the performance of that government and you expect him to speak guide and evil of that government. You understand? It's a normal thing around the world. So me, I was not expecting anything from Daniel Bwala, despite the fact that he has spoken badly of the present president. It's not the only one. Even the ambassador, so to say, Omokri, that is in Mexico now, he said so, but the certain he denied. Even show represented the case in court. You understand? So one should not be perturbed about what this man was saying. Today, you spoke about electricity, Joyce. You know, in Cuba today, they experience a power shortage for 60 hours, and everybody is on the street. Nigeria now, darkness is part of our life. Not only darkness, poverty and everything. But that's what is bothering me. What I'm concerned about is how do we get ourselves out of this quagmire? That is the problem. Joyce, look at the electoral act that was signed while we were busy. Are you there, Joyce? Can you listen to me?
I'm listening to you. I wanted to not interrupt you because if you are insinuating that there's a quagmire, the interview is suggesting that there is no quagmire. If you say the interviews are necessary, then
it is that Daniel Bwala is an entity.
Half cup, half full, half cup, half full.
A concerned Nigeria now should be worried about how we should get ourselves out of this quagmire. My problem, if this
is there a quagmire? Context: is there a quagmire?
There's a quagmire, but the person that was interviewed never believed there's a quagmire. But when Nigerians here know that there's problem in Nigeria here, that's why I told you that I'm not too worried about that. It's expected of him to speak those things. You understand? To paint the comment. It's not the first. So Joyce, look. In fact, I cannot say Nigeria has been hijacked. Even the Senate, the law they pass, where are the so-called opposition party? Where are they going to pass from? Where? These are the issues that we should worry ourselves about. Not Daniel Bwala's interview that we know is lying. We know. Even when Lai Mohammed was there, all of them, they represent the government, they always lie. It's not a new thing to us at all. How should we look at, you said soldiers were killed in where? About 40 of them. Though some people were denying it. How can they be killing soldiers? If they kill us, how will we protect us? We are Lagos safe. How do you think this thing will not get here one day if this thing continues? That is supposed to be our problem.
Well, it is our problem. We've been talking about it. We just have something far more interesting to talk about, which is the optics. Thank you. Thank you so much for calling me. I do appreciate it. Thank you. Nigeria Info, 99.3 Nigeria Info. Hey, how are you? Thank you for being here. Okay, I lost you. Make it back. Nigeria Info, good afternoon to you. Welcome. Can you hear me? Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Joyce.
Afternoon, welcome. Good to have you.
Thank you very much. This is Boyerson calling from Afromedia.
Go ahead.
Now, wow, you can see anything that has a beginning must have an end. I think this is just the beginning of the fall of this so-called Daniel Bwala. Maybe he never knew that he was outside. He thought he was in Nigeria. He was granting that interview. Look at him. Look at the whole Bwala. Talking about contest. Look at the journalist. Look at how he was bombarding with questions. He couldn't stand. He couldn't withstand. But he never knew. He thought he was in Abuja or maybe in Lagos here. You see, that is how they are demarcating Nigeria because they've refused to do the right thing. Even the person who sent him to go and do that interview. I mean, maybe in other words, maybe he tried to even shame him, and he ended up thinking that he wanted to shame the country, but he has shamed himself. And at the same time, the person who sent him, honestly,
no, the intent is not to shame the country. He is a representation of the country.
Maybe he was thinking that by the time he goes there to tell lies, this deputy government is all about lies now. You are aware now. We know now. But just if you say you don't know, you might be pretending. You went there to tell us
not
as the cover
knowing.
of-
There is no not
Okay.
knowing. There is what the facts present. And if you say that, I mean, he himself has denied his own comments, the statements that he made.
So you can now juxtapose what I'm saying. Even the ones
But you know,
said
what
in
of
the past-
context? I want to impose context on your reasoning. Is there a way you can look at this that suggests that this administration is moving? They may not be moving in your direction, but they're moving, they're working,
For
and
God's
they're
sake,
progressing.
for God's sake, where's the administration moving? Where is it moving? You and I know. We know that it is based on propaganda. Whatever they're saying is on propaganda. We're on ground. And the people at the helm of affairs, they refuse to, come down to the people and listen to the people. Because they are maybe on high heavens. They don't care about what is going on. They live in the moon. That's the truth. If the president wants to, ameliorate things, he should just mellow down and listen to the cries of the people.
Okay.
Not just 2027, how many governors have become? That is just nonsense. I don't think this man is ready to help Nigeria out. Okay. Let me just stop there. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I mean, this must be a glass full, glass empty type situation. 99.3 Nigeria Info. I want to go to WhatsApp.
We can squeeze in a message. Good afternoon, Joyce. My name is Fred Adokia. Tell that AB from Ekpe that the clapping was from a section of the audience with the cap with the logo number 8. And those are the supporters of president that were paid to clap. We are no fools. He was talking about the guy that said people were clapping for him.
I don't know.
While he was
You're still
talking.
buying. How much you buy petrol? Like, are we going to look? It's okay. Let me tell you, if a person supports this administration, there is really nothing wrong with it. Like, they have a constitutional right to support
Joyce,
whoever
the
they
only
choose.
problem I have is that if you're supporting it, tell us, give us everything, give us.
So
make
now,
a point.
yeah, make the point. Like, okay, here, this is why I'm supporting this. Is at least make the administration
Let
look
us-
good, because it's possible that some people, for whatever reason, like hunger, poverty, economic difficulty, or hardship, do not support the administration because they think the administration is not working fantastic. But if you think that the administration holds something forth, that if we hold out just for a short while, things can get better, a half-full type situation, then give us your reasons or justify your position. We'll be right back.
For talk. 99.3 Nigeria Info.
99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Did you know that micro, small, and medium enterprises account for 96% of Nigeria's businesses and contribute to about half of the country's GDP? They also provide around 84% of all employment in the country. Want to know more? Join us on Board Street Drive, our new business show, 2:30 p.m. Mondays on Nigeria Info 99.3 FM. Let's talk.
Ramadan, a time of reflection, kindness, and sharing.
Embrace warmth and togetherness with Sedap Supreme Noodles. Made with real chicken essence. Delicious, easy to prepare, and share with family and loved ones. Share kindness with Sedap Supreme Noodles this Ramadan. Ramadan Kareem.
What is health? It's more than the absence of illness. It's a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. But let's delve deeper. Health is the heartbeat of life. It's the rhythm that keeps us moving forward. The pulse that echoes our vitality. It's a symphony of balance and harmony, resonating in every aspect of our existence. Health is a silent conductor, orchestrating the dance between the body and mind. It's the energy that propels us towards our dreams and aspirations. It is the foundation upon which we build our futures. So, what is health to you? Join me, Kofi Bartels, this and every Thursday for Health Thursday, 8 a.m. on the Morning Crossfire as we explore important issues affecting your health. Only on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Welcome back to your number one talk, news, and sports station. This is Nigeria Info.
We're back. Nigeria Info. Good afternoon to you, and thank you for joining us. You're on the sunny side.
Good afternoon.
If you can
Good
hear me.
afternoon, Joyce. This is Mr. Smith.
Good afternoon to you.
Calling
Thank you
from
for being here.
Solo. Yes, this is my first time of calling and joining for and listening every day. My own contribution is...
What's your name, please?
First, Mr. Smith.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. First, APC first contracted private contractors to defend their propaganda. Then second, it was the president's wife that went to do prayer breakfast with President Trump to protect themselves again. Then third is Daniel Buhala. When I listened to the interview on Sunday, I felt ashamed. They keep lying to us. They keep lying to us. I don't know those who keep supporting this thing. If you go on a survey on Nigerian street and ask the youth that if you get to power, will you embezzle money? You will see about 80% of people will say, yes, I will embezzle money. Only God knows how all these things, all these shenanigans will stop. Only God knows. I pray for Nigeria. God, please bless Nigeria. Thank you.
I do appreciate you calling in. We have what? Can we afford one call? Hello. Yeah, we can. Good afternoon to you, Nigeria Info. You have a minute. Tell us your name. Go ahead.
Hello, Judge. God bless you. People are saying they don't know. Some people say they don't know how FPC government is moving forward. I don't know how. Can they calculate how much this administration has borrowed so far? Is there any other government that borrowed this kind of money? They don't hear. They don't know how much this administration has from fuel subsidy. They don't know how much this administration gets from fuel subsidy. Nobody knows how much this government put for Nigeria, what do you call it, coastal route. Don't we know point the cry when Nigerians cry that we don't need that road for now? They still put all that amount of money on that road. They are saying they don't know how much this APC government put for national grid that fell every day in this country, and we don't have light. And they say APC is not moving. APC is moving, but all their moving will stop whether they like it or not by 2027. Nothing on earth can stop us.
For a nation that wants free, fair, just election.
For once, let them look above their head and say, let us do something that is good for Nigeria.
Nobody will fool me. Honestly speaking, Nigeria is in the wrong hands.
That is the problem that we are confronting.
The conversation starts here on 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
It's 2 o'clock. The headline news on 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Fire breaks out at office of the head of service building in Abuja while President Bola Tinubu pays tribute to Nigerian women on International Women's Day. Appeal court affirms suspension of Samuel Anyanwu, 3 other PDP officials, while appeal court upholds conviction of former Army Properties boss Omar Mohammed. Labour Party chairman urge INEC to reject fresh Congress plan, sanction Nenadi Usman. Advocates call for women's leadership and solidarity on International Women's Day. JAM says it is not responsible for HND admissions or NYSC mobilization issues, while UN Women urge passage of special seats bill to boost women's representation. NDLEA arrests ex-councillor, seizes drugs and explosive components. Peter Obi warns against persecution of political opponents, calls for fair anti-corruption enforcement. Senate probes alleged 210 trillion naira unaccounted NNPC expenditure. Rivers Assembly rejects 4 commissioner nominees submitted by Governor Sim Fubara. Oil prices surge above $100 as Middle East war disrupts supply. The EU to hold emergency talks with Middle East leaders over escalating conflict. And Glasgow Central Station closed after major fire causes building collapse. And that's all for now. I am Yvonne Ohaifo, and this is 99.3 Nigeria Info. Thank you for your time.
What's that station again?
Oh, yeah, come
Here's one thing you need to know about yourself. So now here we dey talk.
Yep, bullseye. That's the one. You're listening to 99.3 Nigeria Info's The Sunny Side. The Sunny Side. Welcome. My name's Joyce.
If an agent has already used you for practice, it guaranteed visa. Stories have changed and finished your savings. If your head is already hot over this Japa matter, if Japa has crushed your mind even once, if you're tired of hearing I was scammed or my agent disappeared, if you want to relocate with sense, clarity, and correct information, then don't miss this edition of Japa Seminar with Uzo. This is not notification talk. This is not social media packaging. It's real experts, real migration pathways, and honest conversations about relocating abroad, not social media noise. We'll break down step by step which visa pathways are legit, which school options make sense, how scammers manipulate people, and how millions are lost like it's nothing. To school and relocation pathways, to common scams and costly mistakes, and if money has been slowing you down, travel loan is available, tuition loan is available. So lack of funds no go stop correct planning. And make we hear something very, very important clearly. We do not grant visas. We do not give guarantors. No shortcuts, no lies. What we give you is verified information, trusted processes, and the knowledge to avoid fraudulent agents and fake promises. Because the goal is not just to japa, the goal is to japa right. Register now, tell your friends, tell your siblings, tell anybody tired of stories and scams. Because Japa Seminar with Uzo is for people who want clarity, not confusion. 14th of March 2026 at the ITF building, 5th floor, Funshaw Williams Avenue, Iponri Costain Bus Stop, Lagos, at 12 noon prompt, no African time. Access fee is 20,000 naira. If you keep saying I'm still thinking, then you will hear stories. If you act now, you secure your seat immediately. Register now, no excuses, no tomorrow. Japa Seminar with Uzo, no packaging, no scams, just real sense. Japa Seminar with Uzo is not a trend, it is a movement. For inquiries and more information, please contact 080-2383-1303, 080-2383-1303, 080-2377-0699, 080-2377-0699.
We're back. 99.3 Nigeria Info. I wanted to share with you something that happened in our recent past, and maybe it is to properly explain the political psyop that this interview may have presented to us, and also for you not to forget that there is something about politics that is latent in the persons that make up your political class that I think every Nigerian must consider. And this is not to Daniel Obuala specifically. It's that, and I think this begs repeating, when you choose a person for political office, you're choosing their temperament, you're choosing their sense of humor, you're choosing their mentality, you're choosing their passions, you're choosing their philosophy, you're choosing their character. You're choosing their will. You're choosing their good. You're also choosing their bad. So I think that when we play identity politics, we forget that we need an absolute, like a broader comprehension of what the identity is, the identity of the party, the identity of the person. Because whatever decisions that need to be made, and in many instances, some decisions will be made and character will influence the outcome. Like the character of that person is exactly what will influence the outcome. I need to go to telephone lines. The telephone lines are ringing. We're live streaming on YouTube, Nigeria Info FM on YouTube, and there's WhatsApp messages we have to cover. I'm going to go to the telephone lines now and then play you something that played out on Arise Television. I need to remind you of this so that in moving forward, as far as this our political phase or our political phase is going on, remember that when you choose a person, you're choosing everything that is an element, an aspect of their human being. All right? So telephone line, Nigeria Info, and then I'll play you this audio that I think is necessary. Hello, good afternoon to you. How are you?
Good afternoon, Joyce.
Thank you for being here. The Sunny Side. Tell us your name. Go ahead.
Godman, yeah. So I don't have much to say about this, in as much as it's so disgraceful what played out there. And but I need people to really think deep about things. What's the objective of this interview? Yes, Nigeria is brought into a bad light, but what's the objective? The man interviewing Daniel Boala, of what faith is he? Is Islam, right? Daniel Boala claims to be a Christian, right? There's some things you need to just go deep. What's the objective of this whole thing? Please ask questions sometimes and not just be carried away by what they want you to see, but you don't get the undertone of what they are going about. Then I want to also say exactly what you said was what I wanted to say. When you join a party, it's like a joining a cult, sort of. So the spirit behind that cult gets into you. If you're joining a cult, you know it's like an initiation. So you may say, "Oh, I'm clean." Yes. There's a spirit behind. People need to go deep. They need to go deep. You don't just think life is spiritual. Life is deep. So when you're going into, just like what you said, Joyce, there's a policy behind every party. There's what they stand on, their ideology. So if you go and you think you don't stand with what they believe in, don't go. Because if you do, there's no how you won't get stained. There's no how you won't get initiated. There's no how that spirit will rub off on you. And this is exactly what it is. So think well before you put your hand into things.
Just think well.
I think that's
You're
one
not
of the
telling us
major
anything.
lessons.
No. Is it that the interview represents something? You're not speaking to that. You're just saying
I'm going deeper than what we just see with what we just hear with our ears and what we just see with our eyes. I'm going deeper than that, and that's why I'm bringing what I'm saying. Let people think deep, and then they'll get what I'm trying to say.
You thought deeply. What did you emerge with?
Joyce, I just give some. I just ask some questions now. I ask some questions now. People should go sit down, think about it, and then they'll bring out something out of it. Thank you.
All right. I'm not sure what he's trying to say, but 10 minutes past 2 p.m. This was on Arise Television. His name is Mr. Onyemuwa.
Totally uncalled for, unpalatable.
Okay, Mr. Onyemuwa, I would like to come in here.
You know,
Mr. Onyemuwa,
they are unnecessary. Totally unnecessary.
Mr. Onyemuwa, I would like to come in here.
Rufai.
Mr. Onyemuwa, my name is
how are you?
My name is Rufai Oseni. And first, patriotism means...
How are you?
Very well, thank you. How are you two?
You say?
How are you two? How are you doing?
I'm okay.
Good. Patriotism means supporting your country at all times, but also supporting the government when they deserve it. Mr. Onyemuwa, I put it to you that you came here to misrepresent the facts today as regards subsidy removal. President Tinubu announced subsidy gone on Inauguration Day. And that was effectively pulling out subsidy. So you say he didn't remove subsidy, quoting the PIA law that had been there for a while, is misrepresentation of the facts. That's number one. Number two, since President Tinubu got in... Let me finish, Mr. Onyemuwa. Let me finish, please. Secondly, since he got in...
Don't raise your voice at me, young man. Don't raise your voice at me.
Let me finish, Mr. Onyemuwa. Let me finish.
I'm your guest.
So since President Tinubu got in,
respect me.
Since President Tinubu got in,
I will
the
walk out of
economy.
your studio if you raise your voice at me.
Mr.
Talk to me
Onyemuwa,
respectfully.
you may will take your decision if you want to. I'm asking a question. You might decide to walk out if you want to. Mr. Onyemuwa, since President Tinubu came in, the economy has tanked. It's at an all-time low as we speak.
It has not.
Let me finish my question. Mr. Onyemuwa, let me finish my question.
You are a liar.
Mr. Onyemuwa, moderate yourself. All right? Moderate
Do you
yourself.
know what you are doing?
Good.
Listen to me, young man.
Secondly,
do you know what you are doing?
since President Tinubu came in, the economy has tanked.
You are pretending to be a journalist.
The indicators
what is
are
the
there.
Matter with you?
Since he came in, the indicators are there. Number one, the cost of the dollar to the naira.
What is the matter with you?
The cost of the dollar to the naira has tanked tremendously as a result of the fluctuation of the currency. All right, that's one.
Is that Tinubu's fault? Don't you know why naira tanked?
I'm still asking my question. Secondly, it's been an
of your friends.
Because it's been an all-time malaise in the economy as we speak. Cost of living gone up tremendously. All right, and things are really, really south for the economy. So, in all of this, it's been a slopey downward spiral. What would you have to say about all of this, Mr. Onyemuwa?
Thank you very much for that question, Rufai Hosseini. Please, Dr. Ruben Abati and my adorable in-law, Mrs. Mairese, does anybody have a more reasonable question for me to answer? Because I am not dignifying that insulting question from Rufai with a response. I am not.
Mr. Onyemuwa, I will see that you're bailing on my question, and it's all right. It's all right for you to bail out if you don't want to answer it. But
I'm
it's
not
all right.
evading your question. Listen,
Please
Rufai,
answer it if you can.
Rufai, listen to me. This is not animal psychology. It is law. Okay? If you want to be a journalist, you can be a journalist. And you should learn the ropes for those ahead of you.
Mr. Onyemuwa, answer my question.
You can never be my mate. You can never.
Mr. Onyemuwa, answer the question. Dignify yourself. Mr. Jegu says that dignify yourself and answer the question.
My God.
Dignify yourself
Please,
and answer the question.
Can we have peace?
Dignify yourself and answer the question.
Can we have peace in the studio?
My God.
Can we have peace?
What's wrong with this badly brought up little boy? Nonsense.
All right. So, then about a few months later, the same gentleman, and it's interesting what politics truly is. It is, and I think you should become aware of it. Just because maybe if we impose context, you can understand Daniel's point of view.
Deal. We don't deal when the people are hungry. Is it that easy for it to be a done deal? Let's feed our citizens. Let's govern well. It's not a question of people defecting to our party. It's a question of us ruling well. And in that angle, we have failed woefully. President Bola Tinubu has failed woefully to rule well, to provide food for Nigerians, to give them succor in this hard times. Let me come to this. The governor of Delta State, who recently defected to our party, is actually my cousin, Sheriff Oberewori. I don't have the slightest idea why he defected to our party. He did not tell me he was defected to our party. I wish he were. But I don't think it has value to him, or he has value to our party, or he has value to Delta State. But I just wish he were. This whole idea of let everybody be, let us just keep packing people into our party, that's not democracy. The interesting thing, Ruben, is that you must always have opposition because people must disagree. This idea of a one-party state is simply unattainable. There must be disagreement. Even in our party, we disagree. We are not even a one-party in our party. Is it Nigeria that will become a one-party state? It's a waste of time. So, I wish my dear cousin, Sheriff Oberewori, well. I welcome him to our party. But I don't think this idea of everybody joining one party is good for democracy. I don't even understand. I'm not a hungry man. I stay in the Transcorp Hilton. I thought it's not Bola Tinubu that pays my bills. Whenever I'm in Nigeria, I stay here. It's not Bola Tinubu that pays my children's school fees. It's not Bola Tinubu that does anything for me. You know? So it's not as if I'm a hungry man or a poor man. Yet, to be fair, how do people work for you to get into power, and you use and dump them, and you start empowering other people who never belong to our party, who never worked with us at the campaign council, you know, who just... I don't understand this Bola Tinubu of a man. He won't just... I don't know what his game plan is. But he's wasting his time because we are the ones that put him in power. We know our calculations, how we put him in power, and we are going to get him out of that power. That's for sure. He's wasting his time. All these people, they will stab him in the back at the last time. Now, whatever he thinks he's doing, he forgets that just because of the hunger in the land, it is very easy to campaign against. Oh. Very easy to campaign against. And those of us who campaigned for him, a lot of us, we campaign against him. And we will get him out of that power. He's a one-term president, I assure you, Ruben Abati. Bola Tinubu is a one-term president. Thank you.
All right. So I want to, I thought this was necessary because politics, good God, 99.3 Nigeria Info, the sunny side, that's Mr. Oh, pardon me. Onakwasa, who himself is a lawyer, was on Arise Television, and he initially defended this administration, and you can tell from the earlier excerpt I shared with you, there was an actual fallout given what he thought must have been an aggressive approach to the questions presented by him by the TV, the broadcaster. Help me now. Rufai Yoseni. All right, and then a while later, shortly after, he was on the same channel, this time with Ruben Abati, and he didn't quite speak in favor of the president because certainly something had gone wrong. Maybe by his evaluations, he was a piper that didn't get paid. Yeah, and you can understand the position of Daniel Boala the years before he joined the administration and his position. It almost feels as though there isn't any ethics to this. There's no morality to it. And if you watch the interview, there were times where Daniel kept repeating things like, in America, he making comparisons, nearly justifying the situation in Nigeria, given the fact that there is no possibility of a solution or they haven't achieved a resolution. And as such, we can compare it to other countries where there are like patterns, where there are similar issues, and as such, this interview is not supposed to make us appear to be the worst given the situation. I want to go back to the interview because truly some of you may not have had the time or the opportunity to watch it. I think on Nigeria Info, we can manage what is left of time, and I think you should hear it. And hopefully maybe even tomorrow we can come back to a conversation where this allows for interaction on the matter. This is Daniel Boala on Al Jazeera over the weekend.
What you need ultimately is foreign direct investment in Nigeria. You need people to bring money into Nigeria to invest long term.
Propose foreign direct investment in Nigeria.
Let me bring in Tunde. Tunde, Anu makes the point, it's all APC governments. So you can't really blame previous government. This is all your party has presided over the situation in Nigeria. Do you
Definitely.
That?
That's why you have a president that is economically reliable to put the economy in the right trajectory. This is the first time you see people rushing to come and invest in Nigeria because of the key economic reshaping surgery that is taking place in Nigeria. So you can tell that Nigeria of yesterday is not Nigeria of today.
We have to go to the break, but last word to
I think it's telling that we're talking about IMF and World Bank as if their approval is sort of a good thing. When we talk about the fact that we live in a neoliberal world, and we're talking about the same institutions that made forced structural adjustment programs down the throats of so many countries in Africa, Asia, and Latin America, we shouldn't be praising the fact that they think these reforms are good. But I put that aside. What do the average Nigerians think about their lives? All that seems to matter to the Tinubu administration and past ones is the approval of the West. And I think this conversation between you and Daniel bears that out. It's what the US says, it's what the IMF says, it's not what Nigerians say.
Okay. So you see, you praise, just 1 second.
We've got to go to the break.
That's excellent, yes, excellent.
Yeah.
You praise the idea, you praise the idea of a Western institution's report about Nigeria insofar as the situation is bad. When we praise the idea of a Western institution that before now said something against Nigeria, but now is saying Nigeria is trying, then that is not necessary.
Well, I think Amnesty International is a human rights group and the IMF is a neoliberal institution.
And they're all Western.
They're
all Western institutions.
All right, well, we're all cherry picking apparently. Let's go to the break. In part 2 of Head to Head, we will talk about President Tinubu, his wealth, his leadership style, and what it means for democracy with Daniel Bwala. Don't go away. Advisor to President Tinubu of Nigeria. Let's talk more about your boss, President Tinubu. He's been on the political scene in Nigeria for decades, first as governor of Lagos and now as president since 2023. He's a very rich man in a very impoverished country, and there's a lot of mystery as to where he got his wealth, estimated to be in the billions of dollars. What do you say to people who highlight allegations against him of, quote, massive corruption and misappropriation of funds?
That's their opinion.
Actually, it's your opinion. In January 2023, you talked about the legal petition against him that involves, quote, massive corruption and misappropriation of funds. You were in the opposition and were very critical of his wealth.
Exactly verbatim what I said, because what you just say is not a true representation.
January 22nd, 2023, you said the petition against him involves massive corruption and misappropriation of funds belonging to the government of Lagos State, abuse of official office, conflict of interest.
I'm glad you said the petition against him.
Yeah.
Yeah, document that was taken to court.
That you highlighted.
I wasn't the one that went to court. And at that time, where was I?
You were an opposition member.
Thank you.
So should we not trust you when you say things as opposition?
What is the job of opposition?
To oppose?
Yeah, no, I'm glad you know it.
For the sake of opposing?
No, that's what you're adding.
I mean, you didn't just say that.
No, go to Westminster on Wednesday by 9 o'clock.
Okay.
You'll understand the job of the opposition.
You can do whataboutism all day, that's fine. You also said that, well, you know what doesn't happen in Westminster in the US Congress?
I know what does happen.
Well, I'm telling you what doesn't happen. Politicians don't accuse other politicians of setting up a militia. You said
they also accuse the governing party.
You said at the time.
On mistake in judgment in appointing someone that eventually turned out to be somebody in the Epstein
file. If you think that this is comparable to Starmer and Mandelson, good luck to you if that's your defense tonight. You said at the time that Tinubu started a militia to sway the election corruptly and that they even threatened you. So how can we take anything seriously you say tonight in his defense?
More conversation, more talk, more right after this.
The round of 16 delivered gripping debates, fearless arguments, and brilliant young minds stepping up to the challenge. Now the journey continues as the quarterfinals of I Beg to Differ kick off on Monday. At 4 p.m., Supreme Education Foundation School faces Hallifield Schools, debating the motion. Frequent defection of politicians weakens Nigeria's democracy. Then at 5 p.m., Great Solid Rock College faces Square College on the motion. Artificial intelligence will make humans intellectually lazy. I am Yvonne Ochaifo. Join Femi Abong-Daniels and me as two schools advance to the semifinals on Monday. I Beg to Differ Season 9. 32 debaters, now 8, one winner, one grand title, the champion of champions. Supported by Obi Wizi. For sponsorship inquiries, send an email to info@nigeriainfo.fm or I Beg to Differ @nigeriainfo.fm. I Beg to Differ, the tournament of champions.
Open the doors to the conversations that move you.
Lagos State enforcement teams carried out cleanup and anti-crime operations.
These are businessmen over Nigeria, and they are very serious.
This INEC, did they change new thing to conduct election? You cannot be whipping me with Koboko and Scorpion, and then you expect me to come and vote for you. I hear some of us opposition is not ready. When the ruling party don't want opposition to exist, what do we do?
These people are just changing figures and cleaning. It is tiring.
All of us sit down and entertain a conversation where we cannot put internet in one village.
On your favorite dial, 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.
Your opinion, Nigerians.
So my opinion is your opinion. Sorry, Daniel, it's your opinion.
That was litigated in Nigeria to conclusion, and then as a country we moved on. We are more interested about the deliverables that we have for the Nigerian people, and we look for opportunities.
Nigerians are very concerned about corruption, and Tinubu, you said this, Tinubu and his people created a militia. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria we've seen a political party creating a militant arm leading to election. Your words, January 2023.
Context is everything.
There is no context.
I'm coming. You are quoting the things I said when I was in the opposition.
And I understand that's uncomfortable for you, but
No,
you
no,
did
no,
say
no,
them.
I'm
if you
free.
want to disown them, that's
okay
fine.
for you to ask anything I've
So
ever
does he
said.
have a militia that tried to kill you?
He doesn't have. I never said he tried to kill me.
I myself have received threats from him and his camp. Your words.
I never said that.
You didn't say that at a press conference on January 22nd, 2023. You're just denying.
I never said that.
Who said it then? A lookalike?
No, I don't know what you meant by that. I know I complained at the time about the conduct of election.
It is not my fault that I am able to recall your words in a way you can't.
But it will be your fault
Tinubu,
when you read it out of context. Yeah.
If we go home late tonight, context.
Yes.
Tinubu and his people created a militia. This is the first time in the history of Nigeria we've seen a political party creating a militant arm and leading to election. He advised his people should grab by all means necessary the process leading to elections, that they created this militia shortly after that. We have seen violence in Nigeria, and I myself have received threats from him and his camp.
Tinubu never created a militia. Tinubu is one of the foremost politicians in Nigerian history.
Tinubu and his
has
people
helped in strengthening
created a
democracy.
militia. Who said those words, Daniel?
Tinubu has helped in strengthening democracy in
Tinubu
Nigeria.
and his people created a militia, Daniel. Who said those words?
Tinubu brought in leadership
I'll ask a third
skills
time.
into governance.
Tinubu and his people created a militia. Who said those words?
Tinubu and his people never created the militias.
So why did you say they did on January 22nd, 2023?
I never said that.
Let's keep going since you're denying words that came out of your mouth. Let's quote some other folks. The Organized Crime and Corruption Reporting Project named President Tinubu a finalist for the 2024 Corrupt Person of the Year award. According to a 2025 poll, 2 out of 3 Nigerians think the president and his team are involved in corruption.
That's a statement from drunken people. Next question.
2 out of 3 Nigerians are drunk.
No, start with the first one. What would you say the first time?
The first one was the OCCR reporting project.
They are the drunken people.
Okay, what about the Nigerians? Are they sober? Are 2 out of 3 Nigerians sober when they say you're president and you were involved in corruption?
Nigerians are entitled to hold and express opinion.
Yes,
it
and
is
it's
in
bad
our
for you.
constitution. The fact that you express an opinion does not substantiate that opinion.
I agree, but that's their opinion. You accept that 2 out of 3 Nigerians think that your government is corrupt.
I will be happy if you can tell me a finding of court that says Tinubu is corrupt.
Well, what's interesting you should say that, because a lot of Nigerians have reason to suspect that his wealth was built on illicit activity.
A lot of English people have complained about the Prime Minister.
You can
a
talk
lot
about
of Americans have
all
complained.
night long,
There is
but it
no
has no
country
relevance.
of the world where the people aren't complaining about their leaders.
All right.
That's how
I love it when
democracy
you
is
set
fashioned.
these challenges. Can you find me a country in the world?
All right. I sincerely must apologize that I'm having to interrupt you because it's 2:30 on the clock. You can find this on social media. And of course, if you have any messages for me or opinions regarding the matter, you can leave them on our Instagram page, Nigeria Info FM on Instagram, and I will pick it up, and maybe we can make a conversation of that. Thank you. The sun has set. My work's done. And the context is I'm on my way home. I commit to you to the late.
99.3 Nigeria Info. We are more than just radio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Nigeria Info FM. Check us out on Facebook at Nigeria Info 99.3. Follow us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM and on Instagram at Nigeria Info FM Lagos for live updates as it happens. 99.3 Nigeria Info. Let's talk.